good to be with you again. Today's topic is very important and very much needed for so many people. Is how can you build this magnetic confidence with just one single change? And this is the way you talk to yourself. Because if you think about it, you constantly have a conversation happening in your hand with yourself, right? And imagine you went, let's say, for a job interview or for a date, and it didn't go well. And this friend of yours keeps bugging you about it, keeps saying like, what did you expect? You're not as smart, you're not as beautiful, you're not as young, you are not that successful. How in the world would you even hope for this? How in the world would you expect to be taken, to be picked, to be liked, to be recognized? In fact, this friend also likes to remind you of past mistakes, the times when you feel hurt. That friend likes to hurt it even more, bugging you, diminishing you, putting you down. How long do you think this friend will stay in your life? And I don't think anyone could tolerate a friend like that for too long, right? But why a person has this friend living in their own head? This is the big question. And most of us have this arrogant, mean, diminishing, rude, nasty friend inside our head. And I say this because I want you to understand that we ourselves discourage us, diminish us, cut our own wings off, and put ourselves down all the time in our own head and take away from that needed self-confidence. So today you will make a decision, and you will make this decision every day, whether you want to have a friend like that in your own head. So number one rule that we are going to be looking at today, and the most important one, is no criticism. No ever any kind of criticism to yourself. And most people think that criticism helps people to grow, to improve, to become better, to get stronger. And in the childhood, parents like to criticize their children to help them see their own mistakes and things like that. But to be very honest with you, criticism does not make people stronger. Criticism weakens. Because when someone criticizes us, that's when we realize that we are not good enough, we are not worthy enough. And even though it might be a push start for us to start improving, deep inside of us, we will remember that we were not good enough and not worthy enough. And if you want happiness, prosperity, well-being, health, you have to stop criticizing yourself. And even though you made a serious mistake, criticism will not make it better. And instead, forgiving yourself and treating yourself with understanding and compassion and empathy, that's what will help you realize your mistake and improve it, and not try to defend yourself deep inside your head, not try to find excuses, but to actually understand that something was done wrong, and that's the way you will learn from that mistake. Because the people who don't criticize themselves, they are more willing to understand their own mistakes, their wrongness, to draw their own conclusions and to learn something. And in situations like, let's say you hit yourself, I don't know, on the corner of the table, and most of the times people will say, so stupid, so dumb, so clumsy, so anything, but support, but loving, supporting attitude. And why? You actually were hurt. And whenever you say unflattering things to yourself, that's when you take your power away from yourself. And if we think about it, where did that voice come from? Why is this happening? Why am I criticizing myself all the time? And most of the times that comes from childhood, when we hear the voice of our parents, of our caregivers, people who grew us up. And that's what we take as a norm, and that's why we keep hearing that voice inside our heads. And for most of us, if we used to criticize ourselves for our whole life, it's difficult to stop. It's difficult to understand where you even start doing this. So I suggest this very easy technique. It's called best friend, or you can even imagine a child. If you have children, you know what I'm talking about, right? So imagine the same situation when you hurt yourself, and what are you gonna say? It's a person that you love that got hurt, right? It's your child, or it's your best friend. And I'm sure you will find supporting words instead of saying, oh, you so clumsy, you always hurt yourself. You can say something like, oh my goodness, are you okay? I'm so sorry. And maybe gently caress yourself, gently rub your spot that hurts, maybe even kiss it. And if we can treat our own child like that, or our best friend, we can do that to ourselves. And this will be your first step that you will take starting from now. So we will be switching criticism for self-support and self-care. So anytime something happens where we are ready to start criticizing ourselves, we are going to remember this, and we are going to find the words of support and care, find the words of encouragement, and do this. Another good way to look at this is imagine someone you really respect. It could be a person that is your mentor, right? And imagine something happened, like they spilled a glass of red wine and it broke, or it just got spilled all over. What do you say? If that's a person you love, if that's a person you respect, you're not gonna be, oh, you, ah, ha, ha. You are going to be saying, that's okay, don't worry, that could happen to anyone. It will be fine, we'll just wipe everything away. Things I like to say if I break the glass. That it's for good luck, because that's what I've been growing and learning. Glass breaks for good luck. So you support yourself, you say that happens. That could happen to anyone, and we're just gonna clean it up and it's gonna be okay. It's not that important. And every single time when you use this approach, you are going to notice the change, how much easier it gets to live with yourself. And things around are going to start to change, because the way people treat you is the mirror of how you treat yourself. So this was number 1 rule, no criticism. Rule number 2, no comparison. And this one is a little bit tougher than the first one, because we always have an urge to compare ourselves to others. I just want you to understand there will always be people younger, more beautiful, smarter, more successful, anything than you. And if we just make this choice of not to compare ourselves with others, we are going to actually help ourselves. If we really want to compare ourselves to someone, we can compare ourselves to us in the past. This way we see the improvement, and we can encourage ourselves, we can praise ourselves. And even when you do have an urge to compare yourself with others, it's your choice. If you want to keep thinking about it, keep nagging yourself, keep getting upset about it, because you will. Or your other choice is to catch yourself and say, why am I thinking about this? Is this getting me closer to my goal? Or is that pushing me further from it? And make the choice to switch your focus to something else, to your desires, your dreams, to gratitude maybe. And gratitude helps us switch. And that's the best way to switch, because when we think about the things that we are grateful for, we switch our focus to abundance. And that always helps. And this rule, I must say, is very difficult to follow all 100%, because we all have this urge sometimes to compare. But do your best and eliminate the triggers. So like, let's say if there is a social media account you follow that you always compare yourself with, just delete them, unfollow them. And this way you won't see them anymore. And every time you feel that urge to compare yourself and you make the choice not to, you will get that boost of self-confidence every single time. Next rule, no devalue. When you have an urge to devalue your work, your success, your achievements, you need to stop yourself and switch and actually reward yourself, congratulate yourself, encourage yourself, support yourself. And every time you achieve something, even though it would be a little thing, like let's say a to-do list for the day, you celebrate yourself. You say, yes, so great, congratulations, you did it. And every time you do something bigger, you encourage yourself, you celebrate yourself, you reward yourself, you give yourself a little gift, you take yourself out, just celebrate yourself. Notice every achievement and success and start rewarding yourself for them. Next rule, no guilt. And this one, a lot of times, it is a difficult one as well. Because if something happens in our life, when we made a serious mistake, when something sad happened and we have this feeling of guilt, I want you to understand that there is no point in keeping blaming yourself, because God already forgave you. And it's often that we ourselves cannot forgive ourselves. Learn to forgive yourself. Remember, you did the best you could with the knowledge you had at that time. And if right now you would not do that same mistake again, you are practically blaming an innocent person. So stop blaming yourself. Forgive yourself. You will feel that big relief off your shoulders when you make the choice to forgive yourself. And past experiences, no matter how painful they were, they led us to certain realizations. And when we let go of guilt, we actually have this resource to understanding now what was that needed learning experience to gain from that mistake, right? And this way we turn mistake into a benefit, because now we learn something that is needed for our future growth, and we would not make that mistake again. You need to forgive yourself, because unfortunately you will not be able to live a happy life if you keep this feeling of guilt inside you and you keep guilt tripping you for past mistakes. I can suggest one simple exercise that you can do to forgive yourself. Lay down, breathing for 5 seconds, and hold the air for 5 seconds. And while you're holding the air, think about those things that keep bothering you. And while you're thinking about them, think about them like they're floating around, they're getting up from your chest to up and start floating around you. And when you breathe out for 5 seconds, you imagine you breathing those thoughts out. And then you hold the breath for 5 seconds and imagine that you are putting a block, an energetic block that does not let those things that you just breathed out to come back. This way you build that energetic block that will help you not to have those thoughts to come back. Next rule, no self-doubt. And a lot of times we doubt our own choices, our own tastes, our opinion. We go to other people for guidance, and this is where you need to train yourself to trust your own choices, your own opinion, because it is so important to be authentic and not be afraid to get rejected by other people because of our opinion, because everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. It is quite boring to communicate with a person who always agrees with you, who always says, oh, I'm the same, yes, I do, I agree, absolutely agree. It's a lot more interesting to communicate with a person who has their own opinion, who are not afraid to express it. Understanding that being agreeable is not always the best. Being unique is, and we all are different, we all have our opinions, and there are thousands of opinions out there, right? It doesn't make some of them good, some of them bad, it's just they are opinions. Everyone is allowed to have their own. Also very important to stop going to other people for guidance. It happens because we don't trust ourselves to make the decision on our own. And we want to go talk to other people because we want to confirm or deny a belief that we already have. I want you to know that you have all your answers inside of you, and your intuition is your best friend. Connect to yourself, trust yourself, train yourself to trust yourself. A lot of times we are so disconnected from ourselves that we just don't hear our inner voice. But our body already knows what to do. And I actually have a video of what it means to be connected to your body. I'm going to leave a quick link here. And when you learn to connect to your body, to connect to your senses, you start hearing that inner voice, and that inner voice is so powerful. It tells you all the answers, and you just learn to trust it. And that's where you stop going to people for their opinions, for their guidance. The only kind of people I would ever use for guidance are the people who already have what I am trying to get. And this way I know they know how to get there. And maybe it's a good idea to hear their opinion, right? Not necessarily that you have to take it, but to at least have a little bit of a guidance of someone who already has what you want to have. And last rule is no familiarity. A lot of times we think that we know ourselves from inside out, and this is not true, because we really don't know ourselves. We don't know our future potential. We don't know our talents. We don't know what we are capable of. And when we start looking at ourselves with interest, when we open that curiosity and just allowing ourselves to imagine that we are capable of big things. Imagine you're going on this date and the person in front of you, you like them so much, so you're very curious to learn about them, to learn about their life, to learn about their dreams, their desires. And this is how you will be thinking about yourself. In your head, from now on, you will be curious about yourself. You will be loving and supporting. You will be encouraging yourself. Listen to what you like, what you want to have, what your plans are, what your desires are. And the good news is only you can control what kind of dialogue you have inside your head. And when you start looking at yourself with interest and curiosity, when you stop criticizing, when you stop comparing, when you stop self-doubting, you will notice that the world will reflect you the same. Because the way people treat you is the reflection of how you treat yourself. And starting from day one, starting from today, you will notice the difference, and you will make that choice every day. And you will be amazed at how much your life will start changing. You will be so much more interesting to yourself. And when you find this friend inside your head that will be always there for you, to support you, to encourage you, to praise you, to celebrate you, you will become a different person. You will become so much happier, and you make this choice every single day till it becomes a habit. You will notice how much self-confidence you're going to get every time you make that choice to support and love yourself. And that voice, your parents' voice, that you will substitute for loving and supporting voice, will actually help you, because your inner child that every one of us has will stop being lazy, will stop finding excuses, and actually will turn around and start being creative and excited for life. And that's where you notice the most change. And this happens because your inner parent will turn from hateful, from shaming, from criticizing, from comparing all the time, into loving and supporting and accepting you the way you are. And this is how you deserve to be treated. Please don't forget to like this video if it was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you still haven't. And in the comments, I would like for you to write, what did you do today to make your inner dialogue better, to improve it, to become more confident, and how you start noticing the change. I would love for you to leave those comments, because that will help me to get to know you better. That will be all for today, and I will see you very soon.